Welcome to the Dream Achievers podcast, where we focus on business owners and purpose-driven leaders in our local communities. We meet people every day where we shop, eat, and do life, and want to bring their stories to you each and every Wednesday. Now, let's get to this week's guest. Hey, welcome to another episode of Dream Achievers. This is Andy Young, the Mountain Money Man, and I'm joined by a face that's familiar to many of you as you've crossed the aisles of the grocery stores. I got Chef GW Clisso. Chef, thanks so much for joining us today here in your processing facility down in Pound.
It's good to be here.
Yeah, well,
yes.
it's always good to be here, right?
Yes.
Any day that we
Well,
get to...
you know, we enjoy what we do for a living.
Well,
create good food for good people.
You know, that's you've got a whole lineup in front of you of good things that you've created over the years. And earlier off camera, you were speaking that you said this is a process that started around 1983, 84.
Yes.
That you had first kind of
yes.
took the venture into restaurants.
We had our first restaurant open in downtown Northern Virginia back in about 83. Steak, seafood, and Italian. Hand-cut steaks, everything seasoned, everything hand-breaded, made from scratch. So, you know, you look there and smile, and that's unheard of back then. It's unheard of today. So, you know, we built quite a following. Mm-hmm. And everybody appreciated, you know, the attention to detail from the salad to the bread. And it set the format for what we wanted to do later in life because we knew people appreciated it.
Well, you mentioned something that's unique still to this day of trying to prepare as much in-house as you can, not
yes.
buying something that's ready to go, off the shelf, off the truck. You know, restaurants will open today and say, first thing I need to do is set up a big account with Cisco or PFG, somebody.
Well, as always, restaurants now are run by business people. They're not restaurant people. And what I mean with that is restaurant people going to make it from scratch. They're going to put their name on it. It's a signature item.
Yeah.
However, when you do frozen french fries or pre-breaded mushrooms or you get your deli meat pre-cut in a package, you're limited as to how good your sandwich is going to be or your presentation is. The one thing I hate nowadays, everybody's got that bagged lettuce. And it's got a taste to it, and people don't realize. I'm sitting there going, can't you taste the chemicals on that lettuce?
Yeah.
I said, you know, you got to take enough time to cut a head of lettuce, whether it be romaine or high-speed, it don't matter.
It makes a tremendous difference. I can remember I worked for Brinker International with opening Chili's around the country.
Yes.
And, you know, you would have the truck come in, and you'd have the giant sinks in the back that you're having to put this stuff in and try to wash all the chemicals and nastiness off of it. So not only are you having to buy this stuff, you're having to buy other things to try to counteract what it tastes like.
I don't know. I don't understand. Why not do it right the first time?
It's a whole, you know, it takes an extra few minutes up front, but it tastes a whole lot better, and you have a whole lot more people buying it afterwards.
You know, people don't understand in the restaurant business. You got two costs. You got fixed costs and you got food costs. Your fixed costs are there every day. The only way you eliminate fixed costs is having walk-in traffic.
Mm-hmm. So when you've, you know, if we look at kind of the lineup, I think probably most people are most familiar with the ranch that you offer. Between probably a head-to-head fight between ranch and the shrimp sauce.
Well, the ranch will always win. You know, we hate talking about other people's ranches, but somebody set the forefront for us. By using that packet.
Uh-huh.
What I tell everybody, this is my recipe. This isn't a clone. I don't think you can copy somebody else's product and be successful and be profitable. I think if you can't do your own thing, you don't need to do it. Product integrity, if nothing else, because you can look back and say, this is mine. This ain't somebody like, oh, I took theirs and altered it. No, this is my stuff. The way I wanted it, and the way the customer told me they wanted it.
Mm-hmm. And I mentioned to you, my wife, liking how much with the, you know, you're getting a lot of the notes and that are coming through of the actual herbs and the spices to that.
There's a reason for this. Now, here's where our dressings are so different than everybody else's. All my food is you can go from one flavor, the Caesar, to the coleslaw dressing, and you do not have to clean your palate between every bite. Most of the time, you go to a tasting, they give you something to clean your palate.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a reason, because the chemicals coat your tongue and they stop your taste buds.
Okay.
So what they do is clean your palate. We don't have to do that. We can go from one to the other to the other. You'll taste the entire profile. Then you can move on to the next product. That means it enhances a salad instead of overpowers the salad. So people don't want to taste the ranch dressing. They want to taste all the greens and all the beautiful things you put underneath and the ranch.
Well, I know I've heard from that tasting, you've converted people that don't even like blue cheese to like blue
Oh, that's
cheese.
always funny. That's always funny. They look at me and say, I hate blue cheese. I go, I know what you mean. They say, what was that? And I tell them it's blue cheese. And they go, no. I understand if you have a blue cheese, it's got a smell.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not a blue cheese smell. That's a chemical smell.
Well, there's a difference between anything when you're having fresh, no preservatives.
Right.
With this.
Nothing added. I tell people we can't help our mayonnaise Scott. I can help what I add to it.
Yep.
But we use like a fresh buttermilk when we make this ranch. It's a high-fat buttermilk. We don't use the skinny buttermilk. It don't have the flavor.
Don't trust the skinny cooks.
Well, it's bacon buttermilk. All it is thin down and got cornstarch in it. How can that taste good in a recipe? It can't.
Yeah.
It's got to have some flavor. It got to add to it. So we use high grade material all the way across the board.
So when were you first starting to take this dressing from in the restaurant to starting to develop, how can I package this?
Back in '91, I had it by the tail, as the saying goes. Is that the correct saying? I had a 300-seat restaurant. Steak, seafood, and Italian. It was in my 30s. We were packed out, living the life of Riley. Quite seriously. Then we had a co-bus. Mm-hmm. 60% unemployment. I didn't sell hamburgers. I didn't sell pizza. I didn't sell hot dogs. Which means suddenly I'm unemployed. And nobody's going to hire me because I was good at what I did, which means I was a threat to their job. If they hired me, it's a possibility I could take their job. Mm-hmm. So I was unemployed, and I had plenty of job offers away from here. Had no problems. They threw the money, but my parents needed me. I was going to be their caretaker, so I chose family over money. If I was going to stay here, I had to do something. I couldn't become unemployed. So I sat there and I thought about it, and I said, what can I make or do that makes sense that, would be an asset to the business community? And I said, salad dressings. Because on Saturday night, there's always this one right here, the French. Mm-hmm. They would miscount it, or they would drop it and run out. And your favorite customers would come in and they'd be looking for his classic Catalina. And you got tickets, you got 15 and 20 tickets, prime rib, red snapper, all the good stuff on the line, and suddenly one of your favorite customers come in and is not happy because she does not have her dressing. So you know what you're going to do? Stop and make the dressing. Mm-hmm. And mess up your whole night because you stopped and made the dressing, and your attention needed to be elsewhere. So I sit there and said, if anybody made a high-quality dressing, I would have bought it. I'm not a snob. If somebody put some love into it, I'm interested. Nobody does. So we went out into the business, and we ran into a lot of opposition from the chefs. And their response was, you think you're better than I am. I go, that's what I said. I said, I'm trying to help your evening. Make you run what you want to be known for. You want to be known for your prime rib. You want to be known for your great Italian. You want to be known for your seafood dishes. You're not worried about if you're worried about got a great salad dressing. That helps, but that's not what you're gonna make your money on. So I sat there and said, well, now what am I gonna do with this? So we went to the grocery stores. Walked in and said, we have 4 flavors we started out with. We walked into the grocery stores and I told them what I had. And their response was, you think you could take down Hidden Valley Ranch? Yes, I think I can. They said, we got to see this. Come bring it in. Bring it in. We will watch you in action, boy. If you're talking, you'll see if you're walking. Well, 35 years later, we're okay.
Still kicking.
Still kicking.
Yeah. Well, those first 4 flavors, which were those that are here on the table?
They were the ranch, the Thousand Island, the blue cheese, and the French.
Okay.
Yes.
So we've expanded out of there. I know you've added, different ones that'll pair for different meals, whether it be teriyaki or more of a fajita style.
Yes.
You've continued to branch out.
We got 28 different products now.
Wow. Fruit dips, veggie dips.
Veggie dips. We do some specialty work. The dill sauce, which is getting ready to come out, is something we ran into a situation. The customer called up and said these people are discontinued. Discontinued the dill sauce, and we need it. It's important to us. I said, do you have a sample? No.
Oh, no.
I said, do you want my interpretation? He goes, that sounds like what we're going to get. I said, well, I think he'd be happy the same way we made it. He tasted it. He said, we should have been doing this 20 years ago.
Well, it gives you something that's unique to be able to pair with, because you can customize.
Yes.
If it's early enough in the process, from speaking with you, if you're a restaurateur that's here in the area or even outside, that if you go, okay, here's my idea, here's what I want, but I want this spin on it, and they may not have the facility to go through and try to create something that's going to be.
Well, when you send this to, if I sent this ranch to a major manufacturer or a kitchen, they're going to alter it.
Yeah, they're going to cut corners because there's things that they look at that go,
yes,
well, that works, but I can do it this way and save X cents.
And it make me $1.
Yeah.
And so therefore your product you send is not what you get coming back out. And I'm not going to say anything, but there's a lot of barbecue sauces that have been put out there that at one time were awesome. They got commercialized, and they are terrible.
Went from sugar to high fructose corn syrup and different things.
We could go down the list. Anytime it's got something in it about that long and you have a hard time pronouncing it, you got a problem. It's going to alter your taste. And I looked up, the great thing about it, we make everything on Hobart mixers. So in our big batches, we make it 10 gallons at a time. In the small batches, we make 4.
Wow.
So, everything's measured out to the hundredth of a pound. So, from the beginning to the end, it's the same. It's no medium. It's not like, okay, the middle is perfect. The beginning is kind of weak. The end is kind of weak. It's there. Mm-hmm. Consistency and quality at the same thing. That's the reason we hand make it. We don't allow machinery to do it because they can't.
Well, if you're trying to replicate something at a very large scale, you lose quality.
Yes, and we don't.
And when you do those small batches,
yes,
if you have one that you go, you know what, something's just not right here, you can afford to say, I hate to, but I got to throw it out. We got to do this again.
Well, we got to, it has to be like your name's on it.
Yep.
My name's on it.
Your name and picture are literally on it.
My signature. There's no way. I own that sucker.
Yeah.
There's no way I can say, well, that wasn't me. yeah, this is mine. And I was blessed with some really good taste buds. I was trained well by the pitch cooks in the hollers. That's who trained me. It's the little ladies that could walk into the cupboard and make you a dinner to die for and not have nothing in there.
I call those MacGyver meals at my house. You go, I joked in college that I was going to have the MacGyver cookbook for college kids.
It was a good idea.
It should have. I just didn't want sued. But you look at that and you go, well, what do we have? And you would say, we've got all these different things left over from restaurants. We've got some spaghetti noodles. We've got this. What can we come up with?
Exactly.
But you that's that Appalachian way that you just look at it that you go, okay, well, what do I have? What can I make do with?
Well, you're poor.
Yeah.
You're poor. You're hungry. It's got to work.
Yeah, and you took it from the standpoint of, I don't want to be poor and hungry. I need to try to come up with a business that's going to create income, that's going to sustain me and allow me to stay in the region.
Exactly. And the thing about it is we're supplying jobs now. Everybody goes, well, what's this such a big deal? It's a major deal. And I'll tell you exactly why, because we went against national competition and have held our own and have grown. So there is a way to take your dream and go on a regional national scale from being in Pound, Virginia. You don't have to move away to do things because we got assets and great things here to use and utilize, but you have to be smart. You do have some limitations, but you got to realize what you got really, truly blessed to work with. And quit thinking you're a poor hillbilly. You got a leg to stand on, and realize from heritage and your upbringing and your parents and everybody that poured into you, you can make some things happen.
Well, that you have to put the effort behind it, for sure. You know, it's not just going to fall in your lap. This didn't fall in your lap. This was years of effort.
It was earned. You know, when I'll tell a story about Ingles supermarkets. We're in all Ingles. We're in Atlanta. We're in Charlotte. We're down below Knoxville. We're in Alabama. We're in Charleston, West Virginia. We're in Ohio. We're in Louisville. A place you wouldn't expect us.
Right.
We probably are. Because people are searching for fresh, unique product. But Ingles, I walked in and gave them a taste test, and they just kind of looked at me like, seriously? You know? And I looked at the gentleman and I said, sir, you haven't tried the dressing. I'm going to let my crew try it, which basically meant I was dead in the water. It's over. And we're going to try it. It's going to be tossed out in the trash. And I thanked him for the time. I said, I appreciate you giving me 10 minutes, because when you deal with Ingles, you're dealing with one of the top 12 grocery store chains in America. So that gentleman controlled one of the top 12 buying powers in the country. He bought that much produce, billions of dollars, and he gave you 10 minutes. I mean, that's a blessing in itself. And you got to utilize it. You got to push hard when you get the moment, but you can't be rude. So I looked at him and smiled, and I said, Jim Ray, I said, if I'm not better than that chef you ate at last night, if I'm not better, I said, I'll go home, I'll sing your praises, you'll never hear from me again, and I'll speak highly of you. I said, but I wish you'd reconsider. So he smirked at me, stuck his finger in one of them and tasted it, and he said, I'll be damned. I looked at him and said, we're doing business. He said, now tell me about this again. We are that different than our competition. And you can't be just a twist. You got to be different. You got to be unique. You got to be special.
But immediately jumps out. I think one of the first things for me is that it's not in the middle of the grocery store where it's on the shelf, where it's going to sit for months and months and not be fresh. It's in the fresh section, along with the produce, right beside the bags that you're buying. The heads of lettuce and everything else. You've got it right there, and there's a reason why it needs to be there. Exactly,
and we take a shorter shelf life for better flavor, and that's the difference. I don't have to buy 6 months. If it's there 6 months, I made a mistake. I either misguessed my market, misguessed my clientele, misguessed everything, or I'm in the wrong store. But whatever, you got to do it right, and taste. And also, you got to get out there and do demos and push it and let people taste it, because talk is cheap. Everybody talks a good game. Now show me the game. You know, we put it in their mouth. That's the difference. They look up, they can't tell me that ranch ain't one of the best ranches they've ever had. Oh, I make my own. I got you. Sometimes you don't have time. Sometimes you need this. I said, this being gluten-free, sugar-free. I mean, come on, guys. It's what you're looking for. It's what you asked for.
It's what so much of the market demands now of fresh, eliminating preservatives, being able to have a small batch product that's going to be of high quality. That's what you see so much of this driving force behind. Hey, we've got to figure out, why is everybody sick? Why is everybody unhealthy?
Well, you know, we're called visionaries. We're called a bunch of things, because this is the way it's always made. When we got started, we ain't changed the process. We ain't changed nothing. Just the time's caught up with us. Because if it tastes good and you use quality, it's going to be good for you.
Yeah. Now we're in downtown Pound, right as you come in with this facility. Tell me a little bit about why here, to be able to manufacture and
Well, it
produce
was an old grocery store, so it had some walk-in cooler space at the time. We've had to build several inside the building to accommodate what we do. Uh, I like the Pound Central location. I'm 3 hours from Lexington, I'm 3 hours from Roanoke, 3 hours from Knoxville, 3 hours from Asheville. I can be in major markets at any given time. So, and the roads are good. You know, it's not like we have to drive 2 hours to get to an interstate. You know, we got 5 minutes on Road 23. And we can go anywhere we want to in a short period of time. Also, because we're in a depressed area, the rent's going to be better. And second, you know, as much as anything, our people need the jobs.
Well, when a place like this that was a grocery store is no longer,
Yes.
you know, you're losing easily 30, 40 jobs.
Exactly.
With that you're not replacing 30 or 40, but you're able to help replace some of those positions.
Well, we're replacing some positions, but at the same time, we got potential to do a lot more as far as, you know, the marketing, some other things that's going to come out of this as we get bigger. We start to now stretch our legs and go for some of these national accounts. You know, we're going to have marketing people, we're going to have shipping people, trucking people, we're going to have a whole array of accounting people. It's a totally different beast.
Well, it's one of those that when you say, how big do I want to go? And it's, you know, that's where you say, I want to go big enough where I can maintain all my integrity of what got me to this point.
Well, you know, some things will never change.
Yeah.
The mixing will never change. I don't care if I say bottle it. I don't care if I say package it. That don't affect the taste.
Right.
What we're going to do is make sure, number one, that we use high quality ingredients. And we're going to take our time and take so many minutes to make a batch of dressing. It ain't so you go, you know, and it's over. And that's the way it is in commercial. And that's not the way it's going to be here. It has to blend, it has to mix, it has to get the consistency. Then we pour it, then we situate, get everything situated like we're supposed to.
Now, I know it's like asking who's your favorite child, but of the lineup here that's in front of us, or maybe ones that aren't in front of us on the table, is there any one that sticks out that you go, you know what, that one was a labor of love and was a different thing for me?
Well, I mean, of course, the one that's always going to stick with you is going to be the ranch, because that's the first one everybody requested in the restaurant. Back in the early 80s, Hidden Valley Ranch was just starting to get its foothold, the packets and everything of that nature, and everybody's going crazy over it. So that was my first baby right here. So it's always going to be most special. You know, as far as what I want, you know, when I'm out for dinner, I like a Caesar on a true Caesar salad.
Okay.
I mean, if it's got good romaine lettuce, fresh grated parm, good croutons, that's the mama right there. You just eat that stuff to death. The ranch, of course, I mean, you know, we do something called ranch fried chicken. We cook with it. We do different things with it. It's awesome. It makes one heck of a chicken parmesan, believe it or not. If you soak your chicken breast in it and then bread it up.
That buttermilk helping to kind of break down.
Yeah,
and
well, it's the buttermilk, but also it's the mayonnaise.
Okay.
Because the oil allows the spices to get into the muscle. You know, it's funny how much chemistry is actually behind food that we don't realize.
We got just that little bit of lemon in there that helps bring the mayonnaise together, and you know, you got that acid to penetrate.
We don't. You know, some of it we just look up and smile and just grin like, damn, okay.
Don't know why it worked, but it worked.
It was good. This right here, like it's raspberry pea, and you see the different color. We make our own raspberry vinegar with frozen raspberries.
Okay.
Fresh if they're in season. But, you know, we make our own raspberry vinaigrette. We don't use a puree. Now, if we bought a puree, it's got stuff in it. Different flavor. So you make your own raspberry vinegar. That's the difference of quality. This teriyaki is what I used last night to create a pepper steak.
Okay.
And it turned out fabulous. I was very happy with it. And you notice this, I don't know if you can tell, but it's thick. And the only way you can really try teriyaki is taste it, which you saw me do.
Yeah.
Amanda's still not forgiving. She can't believe I talked her into that. Trust your chef, man.
Yeah.
And like I said, it's honey mustard. You notice the color's different than most people's honey mustard. It's a different mustard. I don't like yellow mustard except on hot dogs.
Okay. So is it a spicy brown base?
Yes.
Or, okay.
Gouldens.
Yeah.
And it's just a good, and the spicy brown's just too bitter. You know, and you want to taste the honey, but no, you don't want to taste too much honey. Now the shrimp sauce was one that made everybody mad. The Japanese got very excited about 20 years ago when I showed up with it. They said, "Who do you think you are?" I said, "What? Who do you think you boys are?" I said, "You took 1,000 Island, you sweetened it up and told everybody it's something special." I said, "It's called bull." That's how I know where this came from. They don't, I do. And, you know, you'll be surprised the things we invent. Somebody will twist with a cup and say, "Oh, new and improved." We invented it. We did it. They just don't pick up on it.
Well, that's one of those quick creations that I normally, if we're doing a rice and veggies, some type of meat, that's normally one of the requests from my girls of have that to go along with it.
It's consistent, high quality, and that's the whole thing about all this. Is you buy that peppercorn ranch, a year from now it's going to be the same peppercorn ranch. You know, we fresh cracked pepper and add it to the ranch. Makes a great cornbread salad.
Okay.
Broccoli slaw. Goes great on a turkey sandwich. It's just, you can just grab these things and say, "Hey, I need to do something different." And that's why people who use my dressings are successful, because they can come up with a sandwich and they can say, "What do I need to do different?" There it is.
They need that wow that goes along with it.
Well, anybody can copy your sandwich, they can't copy your toppings.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing. Unless they buy me, they ain't going to copy. And I don't know if I'll sell to them. It's kind of like if you got a pizza place right open up, and somebody opens up a pizza place next door to you, and they want your wing sauce and your ranch dressing, I'm not going to go sell to them. Because they're just hurting you. That's unheard of nowadays among salesmen.
Yeah.
They'll just sell to anybody and everybody. I sat there and go, "He and I are making money.
We don't need to step into this.
We don't need a bull.
Yeah.
You know, we don't need a conflict here. Let's see what he does with it. Now, if he goes out of business, we'll talk." I mean, you know, I'm that type of way I do business. You know, you got to have a little bit of integrity and stuff about you.
Well, it matters quite a bit when you look at it. That you go, how do we make it better for everybody? We have to create that unique thing. And yeah, I could sell more product, but if that doesn't wind up benefiting long run, that's a short run hit.
A lot of my
for a long run, you know, I've lost that edge. I've lost that integrity. That's not going to help me out long term.
A lot of my customers are 20 and 30-year customers, which is kind of funny.
They've grown with you.
You've grown with me. I've had some health issues over the years, and I'm just getting over one now, unfortunately. But my first one I had, it put me out of business for a year. And, well, I went broke. And you can't, if you're self-employed and you're without business for a year, you know, you're at the bottom.
Yep.
But I started getting my health and energy back. I wanted back in it. You know, we talk about God's blessings, and you're supposed to be doing things and everything of that nature. You get signs, correct? Well, I went around to all my restaurant customers, and I looked down and says, "I want back in. We'd love to have your dressing back." I said, "Guys, I'm broke. Broke. Can you prepay?" Every one of them did.
Yeah.
Every single body said, "You daggone right, we'll prepay. How much you need?" So they did that for like 2 or 3 months till we built up our capital base again. So if you treat them good enough that they respect you and like you that much, then you've done a good job.
Well, you mentioned earlier, you said, you know, I like to ask people kind of, you've been on this journey to this point, looking forward, how do you want to be remembered? I know for you, you're going to be remembered forever on the items, you know, name, signature, picture, that's kind of immortalized with that it's there forever to be able to stick with your brand, because you created this following, this brand over the years with that. But how else, when you look at that, chef, do you say, you know what, this is what I want to be when I'm gone? How do I want to be remembered?
Well, there's so many different ways you can look at that, of course. No, probably the main way is I had a calling. God's got me to do, wanted me to do something different. So I took a leap of faith and did it. Number one, but also you got to have the confidence and strength and understanding and prepare yourself to do such things. Second, can't doesn't exist in God's Word. I can't do it. Well, that's the first problem you got right there. Yes, you got odds, but if you're supposed to do it, things will happen. You're going to have to sweat for it, work for it, do things, yes, but you'll have it. So, it's a combination of things, and believe in your heritage. That these crazy coal miners and all these other people, the hard-working people that put pride and love in their work, let it transfer over to you. So when you do your projects and you do things like you're supposed to, it's God-based, whether you want to admit it or not, because that's where that comes from.
Absolutely, everything does.
Yes, but no, most people don't admit that.
Yeah,
And I walked through some interesting gates. Probably shouldn't have a few times. But I've always come out the other side because the people are afraid to learn lessons. I'm not afraid.
yeah.
You got to find out what the competition's got, and sometimes that means you're going to get slapped pretty good, but you got no answers.
Right.
We never been afraid, and we've been, I've looked up and says, it's going to hurt. Here we go. But, so yeah, we want to be, we try to do, the will of God and help people achieve our dreams.
I definitely can testify to the fact that what you have done is created something that brings joy to people. When you think about where do you experience a lot of joy, normally it's involved around some type of family get together. It's eating, it's breaking bread, it's doing that, and you brought something that people can enjoy and bring them together for years to come.
Well, in the Bible, when God brought all those people together and had a meeting with them, what did he do afterwards? He had a party.
Yeah.
He fed them. Over food, you establish camaraderie, you establish connections, you establish friendships. You get in position to do the things you got to get. People forget about family meals. People forget about get-togethers. Taking time to slow down and breathe and be thankful for what you do have. So I was in such a rush. TikTok and all those other things are fabulous things, but they don't take the place of actually sitting down. And that's our problem nowadays is we just get out there on the left wing and we forget the things that really matter.
When you have so many people that are living through a small screen, and they're living life through that, and they're more connected than they've ever been, but then when you look in that room and there's 10 other people around them that are doing the same thing when they could be spending that time together.
Well, they're not connected. They're not, when you work with people and touch them, they need to have your presence. Because it's about the touch of God, the Lord himself, that makes a difference, and people don't do that.
Well,
and that's where all the problem is.
Hopefully we can have more of that and more of being able to share stories like Greg Clisso here with all of his fabulous dressings. If you haven't already been able to have some of this, I know I mentioned that I grab it at Food City here locally, but I know IGA carries it here regionally.
Yes, we got several small Ingles, Priceless, Grants, Grable's, and down in Lee County.
And if you don't have one of those around you, you can order online on the website.
Yes, you can, Chef GW Clisso. Yes.
Easy. Ship it right to your door. You can get as much as you want to be able to come.
We got like 28 different products for them to pick from. Unfortunately, the grocery store's not going to carry everything and can't. But we got some unique items. The wing sauce, the caramel barbecue sauce, the caramel moonshine barbecue sauce, I should say, is done quite well. We're blessed, and we're looking for what they're going to hear for next time. If you come back, we go have a new group of stories to tell, because we got a couple major contracts are coming, and what that's going to do is open up the East Coast, and that means we'll have to have a new expanded building. expanded. I mean, it's about 5 times the size of what we got now, and you'll see a whole different situation. And then I get to show people what actually was in the beginning, what was forecasted, and what's going to go, because they see us now. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
We're even though we're going to ship a ton of salad dressing now, we're still grassroots.
Well, it's that bootstraps mentality of, get as much as you can out of as little as you can.
Exactly, and then we get ready to take the next step. So when you come back, you'd sit there and say, "Okay, we went from point A to point B," and it'll be a short period of time, because when the Lord moves, He moves hard.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, Chef, I appreciate your time.
Thank you, my
Thanks so
brother.
much for being able to share those stories. Be sure to like, share, subscribe so you never miss an episode. This is Andy saying I'll catch you down the road.
Thank you.